Holy smokes, folks, do we have a video to get into here today? We got Bitcoin moving down huge. We got oil just absolutely crashed. I mean, the move oil just made would be like if the Dow was down like 2,000 or 3,000 points today. Absolutely amazing. We're going to talk about what's going on there. Got to talk about some things going on in the stock market. Microsoft stock was down big today. We got to talk about that. There's a fake CPI report going around out there on social media, and I want to show you exactly how you can determine if that report was fake or not. So a lot to get into in this video, guys. I hope you enjoy this as always. I appreciate you guys joining me, and let's get into this. So first off here, okay, founders of bankrupt crypto hedge fund 3AC go missing. So this is the one that took down a ton of things, okay? And yeah, the founders are all of a sudden just gone. The lawyers representing 3AC's creditors say the physical whereabouts of the two, founders are currently unknown. Oh boy, okay. This just adds to the whole fear of the crypto space. It's like times get tough and just disappear, things like that, right? And I mean, the whole crypto space is just in a very negative state right now with all these clouds around it, right? You have this going on. You've obviously had the failures of so many different brokerages or exchanges out there. You have a lot more fear. You have also another fear on top of that, which is like when, let's say, some of these exchanges that are closed right now, let's say they go through bankruptcy or whatever the process is, and then people are allowed to essentially actually make moves if they ever are, right? Do they sell right away? Does that add a bunch more selling pressure? Also, a lot of other people are scared because they're looking at the whole crypto space in general. Like everything's been crashing. We don't even know how safe these exchanges are and brokerages and things like that. And so people are freaked out, man, on every single front in the crypto space right now. And yeah, seeing something like this to the headlines, it just does not help. And Bitcoin's moved down pretty quickly here from 22,000 just a couple days ago to now it is under 20,000 once again. And man, everybody's looking at it and like, are we about to have another big leg lower? Because sometimes Bitcoin will show the support recently, for a few weeks, and then it just dumps again massively. And so we shall see what happens there. Ethereum is making even a bigger downward move. This is down over 14% in the past 5 days. And the thing that's the scariest, I think, in the crypto market when it comes to Bitcoin, Ethereum, the scariest thing when it comes to those, honestly, and where it differentiates versus like stocks is obviously stocks have revenue. Stocks have net income if they're an income maker, right? Or cash flow. And so there's certain ways of valuing stocks that go back, 100 plus years. In terms of Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's really what the other person's, willing to pay at that given moment. And maybe over time things adapt. But as of today, it's just what the other person's willing to pay. There's no like, it's trading at a, 9p, so it's much undervalued. We need to buy the stock now. It doesn't work like that for crypto. So we don't like literally anybody that tries to predict the bottom for Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's just a guess. It's literally just a guess. There's no science that goes into that. I mean, the bottom for Ethereum could be 900. The bottom for Ethereum could be $90. Like no one really knows. And it could be anywhere in between there, right? Oil and gas. So this is oil down 8% plus today for WTI. Brent was down over 7%. Natural gas was the least bad of the bunch, was only down 4%. I mean, like I said, guys, the move oil made here today, this would be like if you woke up and the Dow was down like 3,000 points, like or 2,000 points, something like that. Everybody in the world would be talking about that. Like, oh my gosh, can you see the Dow just fell over 2,000 points here today? But the oil market, it just acts insane like right now, and it drops over 8%. And I feel like it's almost back page story. And like, this is huge news. By the way, let's address this. This is great news, okay? For, folks, let's just call it that, because this is something that will start bringing down gas prices. We've seen oil just kind of collapsing for the last month or so. So we should see more of this. I hope we see more of this. This is good news overall in terms of like, all the gas prices are just taking money out of people's pocket. The fact is, most people do not drive EVs today. The fact is, most people drive internal combustion engines, which require gasoline, and the cheaper gas prices are, the better it is for the economy, because like it's either you spend that money at the gas pump, or you can spend that money on investments, or you can spend that money at the restaurant, and you can spend that money wherever, right? It's much better for the economy that money is not spent on filling up your gas tank, okay? The euro lost ground on Tuesday, trading near parity with the dollar, which is, that's a whole other crazy situation. Like that's the first time in like 20 years that's happened. Well, stock markets fell on the prospect of rising interest rates and worries over the economies worldwide. A stronger U.S. currency usually weighs on oil because it makes the dollar price commodity more expensive for holders of other currencies. Quote, in the West, the combination of high energy prices and rising interest rates is fueling concerns about a recession that would have serious impact on oil demand. And on top of that, there's a talk about China closing down a bunch more things again. I've even heard about Macau closing again. I'm like, oh my gosh, are we ever going to get past running Rona? Like, at least in China, it doesn't seem like it. It literally doesn't seem like it. And so at the end of the day, that's a good thing for oil price, because if they're talking about closing down all these big cities in China again, right? Hey, less demand for oil out there and price will fall. And so ultimately, it's let's call it a good and bad thing all at the same time, right? Now, also, this is a factor in this, okay? If you didn't know, Biden's heading to Saudi Arabia, okay? And from what I'm hearing, Biden is likely going to try to get OPEC to, let's just say, increase supply more than they have, right? And they want to see oil price come down. We'll see if Biden is successful in getting, not just the Saudis, but OPEC in general to essentially be in a position where they want to increase the supply. I don't know. I think it's kind of a tough sell. I think the Saudis, I think OPEC, I think they like the high oil prices, I'll be honest. And I think they would much rather get $100 a barrel for oil than get $10 a barrel for oil, or $30 a barrel for oil, or $50 a barrel for oil, right? And so for them, I don't know. I think you're going to have to throw them a bone. Let's just put it that way, in order to get them to want to increase supply in any meaningful way, because they're making bank right now. And if you didn't know, it is insanely cheap to essentially produce a barrel of oil in the Middle East in general. And so the amount of money the Middle East is making, it produces a big smile on your face, because I'm telling you guys, like the profit margins for them, oh my gosh, when oil's like $100, $90, oh my gosh, it's insane, okay? Now, all the travel stocks moved up huge today, but specifically anything that actually uses fuel, right? So you got Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, Hawaiian Airlines, CCL, Carnival Cruise Line, United Airlines, and you got American Airlines. They're all making some massive moves up, and American Airlines just always seems to be the most volatile of the bunch. That's an over 10% mover here today. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if oil's going down, these babies are going to just continue to kind of beast, at least in the short term, right? And at the same time, if oil was to go back to 120, 130, these would be all back at new multi-year lows and 52-week lows again. It's pretty much as simple as that in the travel space. Now, I woke up and I was feeling a little too happy, so I went on Twitter because, if you usually feeling like too positive, too happy, just go on Twitter for a bit, and you usually be negative. And I saw Portfolio Day, and I was like, oh my gosh, people are sharing their portfolios. That's going to be sad. Hasn't everybody been destroyed the last 8 months? And then I realized, no, that's they're not talking about stock portfolios, talking about another portfolio, Mr. Softy. Wow. Okay. I pulled up my big tech watch list and I saw that one down 4% plus. Now, Microsoft is not usually making a 4% plus downward move unless the whole NASDAQ is absolutely tanking. And today the NASDAQ did not tank. The NASDAQ was down a bit, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, the NASDAQ's horrible here today. So I saw that, and the first thing I thought, I was like, let me look into this. Like, what's going on here? Okay. So Microsoft stock is coming under selling pressure. I found this on Barron's on Tuesday after a cautious commentary on the outlook of the software giant from Morgan Stanley analyst Keith Wise. Wise keeps his overweight rating on the stock shares, but trims his price target to $354. I'm going to explain to you guys how silly this is in just a moment, okay? From $372. So he's not as bullish on Microsoft. While still bullish on the long run, he's worried that the company's growth rate could be impaired by macroeconomic forces in the coming quarters. He says, quote, signs of the decelerating IT budget, growth expectations, and a weakening consumer warrant increased focus on the durability of growth rates. Microsoft screens well relative to many software peers, but is not immune to macro. Among other issues, the company will have to navigate a sharp slowdown in personal computer demand, which appears to be spreading from the consumer sphere to commercial PCs. So, now the interesting part of this is, okay, and let's just think about this logically for a moment, okay? So this analyst, a little less bullish, right? But they still have a 12-month price target on the stock of $354, okay? The stock today is $254. So basically, they're expecting Microsoft stock to go up $100 per share over the next 12 months. Yet, this stock sold off 4% today. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And you might say, like, this is ridiculous. How can an analyst just come out, give an opinion, and the stock moves down 4% and loses, tens of billions of dollars? Actually, in Microsoft's case, they probably lost over $100 billion of market cap today. Like literally, for sure, tens of billions of dollars of market cap, but it might be over $100 billion of market cap this stock lost today, just from an analyst coming out and basically saying, hey, I'm lowering my price target from 372 to 354, and Here's the deal, guys. Okay. These analysts, they do matter for short-term momentum of stocks, bottom line. And if an analyst from Morgan Stanley comes out and says this about Microsoft, a stock that a lot of people have been looking for a reason to sell, because Microsoft's earnings have been strong, it's been hard to say they'll even be hurt in a recession. People are honestly, and especially a lot of the short-term folks on Wall Street, they're looking for a reason to sell Microsoft. They just haven't got it. And so if you get something like this comes out, an analyst brings down their price target and is a little less bullish on the stock, boom, next thing you know, loses 4% plus, it drops tens of billions of dollars in market cap, if not $100 billion in market cap, right? And boom, it's as simple as that. And I mean, it doesn't have to make sense to you. It's just the way it is. It's the way the stock market works. And, you could be mad at it. You could, whatever. It's just the way, it's part of the process, man. And, I know it seems dang silly, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Banking sector. So this is back-to-back days here now where, to be honest, Wall Street has no clue what they want to do with the banks. Between the CPI coming out, obviously in the next 24 hours here, and obviously the banks reporting earnings starting at the end of this week and obviously going into next week, almost all the big banks will report over the next few trading days. This is a situation where Wall Street has no clue what they're doing. And that's why you're not seeing any type of dramatic moves in the banks right now, because they're clueless. And they're like, I don't really want to sell them. I don't really want to buy them. It's just the situation, right? As far as my top 5 best gainers today, Honest, which is a huge position for me, had a 5% move. Win is a smaller position for me, and man, it's hard to be bullish on Win because of everything going on in Macau. 3%. BYND and SDC are small positions for me. Those made 2% moves. And WBA used to be a huge position for me. It's a very, very small position now. I only hold it in the dividend account. They made a 1.4%. In terms of my top 5 worst stocks here today, Dropbox, which is I would call it like a mid-sized position, down about 3.5%. Amazon's a super small position. I just literally started down 2%. Revolve's a pretty big position for me. That one down almost 2%. Netflix is a new position for me. I just started that one recently. Very small position, 1.6% down. And Pfizer, a small position in my dividends only account, down 1.5% there. In terms of oil and gas stocks, I mean, massive sell-off here today. Massive sell-off in the oil and gas space. Which should come as expected. When you have oil prices go down like that, all these stocks are going to move down. And here's the thing with these stocks, okay? If oil keeps moving down, this will just pull these babies down more and more and more. And if these stocks could easily fall between 25% and 50% more this year if oil keeps dropping and natural gas keeps dropping. And let's say by the end of the year, WTI is at 70. Let's say by the end of the year, natural gas is in the 4s or something like that. All these stocks will have fallen another 25 to 50% from here. And they've already gotten slashed pretty bad just in the past, I would say 5 trading weeks roughly. So yeah, there could be more pain ahead there, right? Now, something interesting happened. So basically in the private stock group, I've been doing this thing on Mondays where we listen to a conference call. And, I pause it at moments that I think are important to explain to people kind of what's going on in the conference call and things like that. So it's interesting. We listened to this Greenbrier Company's conference call yesterday. And this is a company that makes rail cars, and they also lease rail cars, to basically railroad companies and shippers and all those sorts of things, right? And so it was interesting because I was expecting them to have a lot of worries around guidance and the state of the economy and things like that. And I got to say, their guidance was strong, their commentary was strong. And so it was just kind of another one of those that I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought we were going into recession here. And yet this company is not giving us any indication whatsoever of recession. And so I don't know, man, it's going to be a crazy earnings season because you could have some companies like your Greenbrier here who basically indicate there's no recession here right now. There's talk about it, but it's not in their numbers. And in terms of their backlog, it's building stronger. We'll see. And then you could have other companies that maybe business isn't going so hot. So it's going to be a confusing one. What's more confusing? Seeing this, I saw this breaking news last night. Billionaire investor Bill Ackman who raised $4 billion in the biggest ever special purpose acquisition company, SPAC, told investors he'd be returning the sum after failing to find a suitable target for the company to take through a merger. Holy smokes, man. It's not every day, somebody raises $4 billion and then they're like, I don't know what to do with it. I'm going to give it back to the people that, put the money in. Like, and that's just like crazy to me. And as far as what it was blamed on, basically just obviously the market, right? High quality and profitable, durable growth companies can generally postpone their timing to go public until the market conditions are more favorable, which limited the universe of high quality possible deals, given obviously how weak the market's been for the last year, right? And so, IPOs will have their day again. SPACs will probably have their day again. But it's not this year. Let's just be honest. It's not this year. 2023, you might start to see a comeback, maybe in the back half of 2023 and into 2024. But yeah, given the current environment, IPOs are dead right now, and SPACs are dead as well. Those are just non-existent, and they'll be non-existent until the market starts to turn and we get past the huge wall of worry, which, we can start breaking that down this year, but it won't be over this year. We'll have to really wait to 2023 to really knock that baby all the way down, okay? Now, CPI report comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. That would be 5:30 Vegas time and Pacific time tomorrow, folks. So obviously this is what everybody in the market's looking at right now. This is very, very important. Now, there was a fake CPI report going around out there, essentially, okay? And I just put these kind of side by side here. And, and somebody on Twitter had pointed this out, right? And basically what they showed is the chart is obviously off, right? So basically what they did is they just put June and these numbers and then moved every month down a bit. But look they never, if you're going to fake something, fake it good at least, okay? They never switched all these numbers. So basically the May number, which was, which they have as 0.3 in the fake, that was really 1.0. So yeah, man, it's like if you're going to fake the CPI report, at least, think about everything through. Like you gotta actually get everything right, okay? Including the charts. You can't just leave that out. People are gonna be looking at everything here and trying to see like what's different here, what changed. They photoshopped a few numbers and whatnot, but yeah, how do you forget the charts, man? You did all that work. Like, how'd you forget the charts? Like, come on, man. Okay, yeah, fake news. It's a real thing. It's fake news is a real thing, even in the stock market space. It goes on out there, and anyways, that's a whole thing. Now, the White House is already trying to basically throw this inflation report out. They're saying it's already out of date. Okay, that's what the White House is saying. And, obviously it is kind of already out of date. But guess what? Every single government number they ever give us is out of date. So to say that this report doesn't matter because it's already out of date, it's old news, it was last month's number, is ridiculous because every single government number they ever give us is out of date by the time they give it to us. Every single government number is looking at the last month, they're looking at the last quarter. So it's such, this is why I hate government, man. Because they're always in this space where if it is, bad news, it's out of date. If it's good news and they're like, did you see the last report that was ... Did you see that last jobs report? Did you see the last ... If it's good news, right? And it's like, come on, man. Like you can't have it both ways. It's either all the reports are outdated and they don't matter, or you got to care about all these different reports at the end of the day. And it's just it's just interesting, man. That's why I hate politics. Government and the whole thing is just a joke, man. Anyways, okay. Now, I did a video yesterday. I don't know how many of you guys got to see this one, but this actually went into all the CPI numbers in terms of if we hit this number, what I think it's going to do to the stock market. If it hits this number, what I think it's going to do to the stock market and whatnot. So it's definitely a video you want to check out so you can kind of see what my expectations are there and kind of what I'm thinking as far as CPI and if it's this number, how much the stock market's going to go down and things like that. Also, just so you guys know, I actually made a couple courses free right now. One is a beginner course. One's a little more of an advanced course. If you want access to that, check out the pinned comment down there and sign up for a call, and basically they'll ask you a few questions, get you enrolled in whatever course is best for you. You don't have to join the private stock group to get access to that, and I think you'll enjoy those guys. So anyways, much love as always, and have a great day.